The next thing that we did was we spent a day with going to an indigenous village and doing a sunrise hike with some shamans and doing a blessing around that. And we had to get up at 2:30 in the morning and drive as far up as we can and then hike to the top of the mountain. Amazing because it's cold, really cold, and we're in our hiking gear. And the shamans have these little leather sandals on and these bare legs. And we're like, oh my God, how are you doing that? And they have these just cloth packs. It's not like a real, backpack. It's just a cloth. And they fill the cloth with stuff and just tie it on them. And up the mountain they go. It's amazing. They played the didgeridoo and the drums and a flute as the sun rose. And then we took coca leaves and you put them in a power of 3 and you whisper blessings into them. And then you can bury them, or you can do what's called a despacho ceremony. And that's a pack. And everybody whispered their blessings into the leaves. And then we put it in the pack. Think like a sheet of wrapping paper. And we put quinoa and grains and llama fat. Llama fat is really a spiritual thing there because it waterproofs. They use llama fat to waterproof the roofs and to waterproof their clothing. So it's kind of amazing. And they put sweets and little wax figurines and they wrap it all up. Oh, and rose petals, tons of flower petals. Wrap it up in this pack. And then they blessed the pack and we all got it, they would put it on our head. And then we burn it in the fire because at the top of the mountain, then with the fire, the smoke goes up and it's a connection to spirit. And again, it was so incredibly moving to have everybody whispering their prayers and then to put all of our prayers together and to have that visual representation of all the coca leaves right there. There are our prayers and they're all together. And just that unity of, my prayers coexist with your prayers, that we're not in opposition to each other, that we're all putting our prayers together and then sending them up in smoke. I thought that was incredibly moving. Then we went again to the indigenous community and hung out with the people. And I had mentioned in the first video all of the potatoes. And it's so neat because they have ceramic pots that they put on the fire. I mean, it's not like, there's no hot and cold running water. There's no, electricity coming through. They're dyeing the wool. They're doing everything on the fire. And it was amazing. And we had the best lunch, just potatoes, 3 different varieties, all tasted different, all delicious with salt. And the salt was powdered. If you've got a coffee grinder type thing or a spice grinder, grind your salt. It is so cool. And then this mint paste. And then they had some cheese that was delicious. So delicious. And quinoa soup. We had quinoa soup several times. That was a real treat. But the simplicity of the babies and the women and the men and just the life. It's a lot of work to harvest and grow and cook and do all of that. And it's not that I really want to go live that way because I don't. I really like being able to turn on a sink and a light. But the simplicity and the way that it pulls you away from first world problems is pretty stunning because it is such a shift in perspective. And I do hope to retain that shift as I move forward, not to get so caught up in things, just to realize how many blessings we have to be able to open our mouth in the shower. That's huge, to be able to have a hot shower. It's huge. And again, it's interesting too, because it's not like we're above and more advanced, blah, blah, blah. They are so healthy. They are so healthy because they are so from the land and with the land and with the environment. And we froze at night and we had blankets and we froze. Well, they were even at a higher elevation. And people were saying when you spend the night there, they're like, you really know what it's like to freeze. But just incredible. Next video is going to be about my plant medicine journey.